Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 28th of September. With McShane, as we work our way through Paul's letter to the Galatians, we follow his debate and challenge to them. They were turning back to Jewish roots. Some people had come saying, to be a Christian, you have to be Jewish, you have to observe the Jewish law. And Paul is saying, you can't do that because that's a trap. And in chapter 4, which we read today, he says the following: how is it that you're turning back to those weak and miserable principles? Do you wish to be enslaved by them all over again? Saying to the Galatians, they're looking back to the Old Testament law, trying to make themselves righteous by the law. And he says, you are observing special days and months and seasons and years. I fear for you that somehow I have wasted my efforts on you. And he's saying that trying to keep the Jewish festivals, trying to make yourselves holy by observing the law is a failure. And I know a number of people that have read that and said, oh, therefore we can't observe Easter and Christmas. The season of Lent, you're observing seasons. Paul says you can't observe seasons. That's anathema, and you're becoming unholy when you do that. And I think they're missing the point. From my perspective, and maybe it's just me, but we have the seasons of Lent, we have the season of Advent, not because we make ourselves holy by them, but it just helps us focus on different aspects of the faith, different times of Jesus' life and ministry. It really is giving us, trying to ensure that we have a rounded perspective on Christianity rather than a narrow focus on one particular element, which is so easy. It's easy for people to fall into that trap. And so by having these different seasons within the church year, we're just keeping a balance. We don't think by fasting in Lent or anything like that we make ourselves holier. It's a spiritual discipline. Jesus said, when I'm taken from them, then they will fast. And we're fitting in with that. So it's not achieving holiness or making working our salvation ourselves. We can't do that. And instead, I've sometimes found that the people that are totally against it fall into that trap. It's almost that one or two of them that I've spoken to, you have a sense that they're saying, because I don't observe Easter, because I don't observe those seasons, that makes me better, that makes me holier, that makes me more acceptable to God. And they're falling into the Galatian trap, but almost from the opposite point of view. So as Christians, we say we trust in Christ. We rely entirely on him. We are saved by grace through faith. That's it. We observe all those other things when they're helpful, when they help us grow in our faith, when they help us know Jesus more, follow him more closely. But we don't think we do it. And that Lent and Advent and Christmas and Easter and Pentecost, that doesn't make us holier. By observing them doesn't achieve salvation. It just helps us to grow, helps us to understand, helps us to see the full or the fuller picture of the faith. So be encouraged as you follow Christ, knowing that he has done it all. And we use those seasons where they benefit, not because they gain us anything. Be blessed.